Hey, what's going on? Mathew Tamin here. I am so excited that you're joining me in this incredible live. I'm so happy to have you guys join today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me just, I have multiple streams going on here. Let me get that out. Okay, so there we go. So thank you guys again for just being part of this. I'm so grateful for the emails that I get from you guys. Tons of emails, questions, and I see that a lot of you have watched the previous lives, and so many great things are happening with your business, and you've learned so much. And today is not going to be any different. So today I want to go over how to build a quality lead generation page. I receive a lot of emails. I'm not always able to respond to all of them, but I will try to get back, to some of you guys that you've just started a business or you're thinking about, starting a business, and you're saying, Mathew, I need help with generating quality leads. How can I generate quality leads for my business? And sometimes some of you send me email links to your website, like, why don't you take a look at my website? What do you think? How does it look? And your website needs a lot of work. There are a lot of key things that you're missing. And today I'm hoping that I'm going to show you how to not just to build a high quality landing page for any type of business, but I'm also going to give you some tips. Okay, it's not just about building. So I want to give you some helpful tips that while you're building this website, you want to keep these things in mind. And a lot of times when people think about, creating a website, right, what exactly does that even look like? What does that mean? Before we get into the design aspect, so today you're going to get some tips. Also going to follow step by step in how to build one for your business. But before we get into that, I just want to go over something, right? Let's get the party started here, get this presentation going. And there we go. So I really just want to get this started here, guys. Just 1 second. Let me check this there. Okay. Okay, so there we go. There we go. All right. So as we get this started, when we talk about websites, a lot of people build websites, but they don't understand why they're building their landing page. So many of you have had your website for years and you didn't get any type of results. It's like nothing is happening. And I've gotten so many emails from you guys. Mathew, I'm not generating any type of leads on my site. It's like my site is just out there. I see people are coming to it, but what's going on? How come I'm not getting anything on my site? So when you think about lead generation pages, okay, before we get a design aspect of it, I want you to think of your website as a person. I want you to think of this lead page as a person. So imagine this. A leader is in the room and you have about 20 or 30 people that are there to get instruction from them. And that leader looks around. Now all the attention is on that leader. He looks around or she looks around and just walks out the room, says nothing to anybody else, just leave out the room. Well, after a while, people are going to do one or two things. Some people are just going to automatically, as you leave out the room, within a few minutes, they're going to leave as well. Other people are going to wait for a few minutes and see if you come back or if that leader comes back, and then they're going to leave. Well, that is the same concept when we talk about a lead generation page. Your website is supposed to lead people somewhere, but oftentimes your site is not leading anyone anywhere. People get on your website, they're more confused than they were when they got there. So the goal of this is think of your website as a person that is going to lead. What are you trying to accomplish? So when you think about lead generation, I want you to think about it from the end result. What results are you trying to get? A lot of times we start from the beginning, and that is where we miss the point. So I want you to start from the end. What exactly are you trying to accomplish? What is lead generation? Lead generation consists of attracting and converting target audiences that have shown interest in your product or service. The goal is to guide prospects through the buyer's journey to the end of the sales funnel, also known as closing the deal. So here's the thing. When people come in your website, the goal of it is you want to lead them through a certain path. People want to be told what to do when they come on your website. They're not trying to figure it out. They don't want to figure out, where do I go? What do I do? How do I click? When people come to your website, you need to tell them where you want them to go and how you want things to operate. So that's the first thing, is let people know where you want them to go. Now, the next part here, I want to give you 8 tips. These are 8 tips that you can apply to your business. These are 8 tips that you can apply even before we get into the actual design of the pages. So keep these things in mind, okay? So first, we're going to go through, here's a list of them. The first one is landing page optimization. You have to understand that optimizing your landing page for mobile is so vital. I've been to so many people's websites that when I check that website on the mobile device, it just doesn't look the same. You have icons out of place, you have images, you have text. Things are out of place. So when you're designing your landing page, you have to remember that you have to create it for the mobile experience as well. It has to be able to be responsive. So about 90% of the global population uses their phones to search online. This is crucial because when people come on your website on their phones, you send a link to someone and they share your site and they're not able to see what you want them to see. Guess what? They're going to end up leaving. The next thing is you want to do what's called audience segmentation. You create different lead generation landing pages for different audiences. This is important for those targeting multiple audiences. Use audience segmentation to divide audiences segment based on their interest and other details. Then create targeted landing pages for them. I have seen so many people get this wrong. Listen, when you have a landing page, you're going to attract a lot of different people. What you want to do is you want to look at your analytics. You want to look at your data and you want to see who's coming. And based on the response that you get, you can create a landing page based on that. Well, I noticed that a lot of people don't actually track their websites. A lot of people do not track their websites, their performance. So what happens when you don't track your performance is you have no clue what's going on with your site. I've asked people, tell me a little bit about your website traffic. I don't really know. I'm not sure. Tell me a little bit about your demographics. What is a demographic? Tell me a little bit about your top pages, your drop-off pages. Tell me a little bit about your benchmark. They have no clue what that is. So you're going to attract a lot of people once you take a look at your analytics. This is vital. You want to determine where you want to put your energy. Create 2 different pages and then you can test those out to see how that works. The next part is you want to grab the user's attention. As I am going to show you when we start the design process, grab their attention above the fold. Now, some of you that are watching this are saying, Matthew, I have no clue what above the fold means. What is that? Where is that? We're going to look at that when we get started. The best lead generation landing page captures a user's attention immediately. Have you ever been on some websites that when you get there, it just automatically just grabs your attention and then compels them to convert to or scroll and to learn more? This means that it's critical to display the conversion or the click-through conversion rate above the fold, even while also including the CTA call to action further down the page. You want to grab your user's attention. You want to grab their attention when they first come on the site. If there's nothing there, whether it's a photo, a video, a text, whatever that thing is, grab them. Once you grab them, you got them. They're going to stay a lot longer on your website. Strong headline. Great SEO copywriting starts long before your audiences get to the page. Your headline will also help tell the page's story in the SERP, search engine results page. That's what that stands for, SERP. Your ad copy, and anytime you reference or link to the landing page, make sure the headline clearly identifies the page's overall purpose. Then refine the headline until it's compelling, intriguing, and emotion evoking. You want to make sure that you have a strong headline. You want to just have just that one line that when people look at it, it's going to grab them. You don't want to have something that is so long, especially when you're starting out. If you're starting out, you want to keep things as simple as possible. Work with a copywriter. Listen, don't try to do it all by yourself. Everyone has something that they're great at. If your strength is not writing quality headlines, don't do it because it's not going to work. You're going to realize that after a while, people are not going to be captivated. So I would encourage you, really recommend it, that you find a copywriter, someone that can write a solid headline. So when people look at it, it just boom, it just automatically just grabs that person's or grab the audience's attention. Number 5, benefits and offers. Highlight the immediate benefits of the offer, not the general benefit of working with your company. For example, if you sell CRM software and your landing page promotes an ebook people can download after they enter their contact information, focus on the benefit of the ebook. This is so vital. I've seen so many people launch landing pages to generate leads, and they waste so much time talking about their company, while their company is the greatest, their company is the best in the world. People don't really care about how great your company is. They just want to know, what are you offering me? What are the benefits? Why should I use your product? Why should I sign up for your program or your course? Why should I do X, Y, and Z? They don't care about all the other stuff. Get straight to the point. Let them know, listen, you can get this free for 7 days. Click here to download this for free. You want to create catchy stuff that will get them not just attracted, but like, you know what, this is really good, right? And I'm sure that you've seen some websites, you're like, wow, man, this is really, really, really good. So you want to make sure you got benefits. And then also you want to make sure that you have a compelling call to action. The best lead generating landing pages convince users to take action. Once you know the broad idea behind your call to action, get creative about the language. Keep your call to action short, sweet, and action oriented. Make design choices that guide the user to the TTAs or use pop-up options with caution. Many brands choose at least one accent colors that pop, giving them something to contrast against the other brand colors so they can highlight the most important part of the page. Your call to actions are the place to make use of an eye-catching accent colors. Okay, so here's what that means in layman's term. Compel people, move people, make them do things that you want them to do. Again, it comes back to that point of you are the leader, your site is the leader. Work with a really great copywriter that can put words that when people read it, they want to do something, right? All of us as human beings have this impulse to do things. We're so impulsive. If you read the right words, it's going to move you. So if your call to actions are not moving people, then you're going to lose a lot of clients. You're not going to generate a lot of leads. Your conversion rate is going to be extremely, extremely low. Again, you want to keep it short, to the point, and action oriented. Do this, download this, buy now, learn more. Okay, so that's what's definitely going to work. And this one is key. Number 7, we'll have one more after this. Number 7, emotional appeal. Now, most people may not think about an emotional appeal when they think about their website. Okay, even the most rational people are driven by emotions first at base level. They might use logic to support or reject a gut feeling, but that gut feeling must happen first before the rest of the decision-making process kicks in. The neuroscientist Antonio DiMaggio found that people have an extremely difficult time making any decisions, likely to fill out a form on your landing page, absent of emotion. In other words, emotions are just as critical to a person's decision to take action as any logical reasoning involved in the process. Again, people want to connect with your product. So whether that means you're sharing a story about yourself, listen, if you ever watch some of those shows like the Shark Tank where people go out there to, get investors to invest in their companies, the ones that typically share a heart-wrenching story, those ones typically, even if the sharks don't like their business, but because they connected with them emotionally. Or is your landing page connected with people emotionally? One of the things that I do when I do corporate training is a lot of times corporations, even though there's been some shifts now, but they tend to look more at just the analytics, the benchmark, at the data, but they forget sometimes that people are human beings, right? And they lose that emotional aspect of it. So part of what I do is I analyze, okay, how are you connecting on an emotional level? Now I'm not saying get all touchy feely, kumbaya, you know what I mean, stuff like that. But you need to connect with people. So if that means you're sharing your story, right? People are going to be moved by that. You want to connect with people emotionally. And I guarantee you, when you begin to connect with people emotionally, they'll trust you. They'll come to you. Your product or your service might not even be the best. A quick story, like a few years ago, when I used to go to a supermarket, there was one supermarket that was like, 2 to 3 minutes away from my house. And there was another supermarket that was about 25 minutes away. So that's like a half-hour drive back and forth. And compared to a 10 minutes drive. But you know what? The supermarket that was 30 minutes away, I'd rather go to that one than the one that was 5 minutes away because I had some type of a connection. I don't know what it is, but there was a different feeling when I went there. So that's what you have to keep in mind when you're dealing with your site is you want to connect emotionally with people on your site. And finally, I want to take a look at page speed. This is another crucial one. Okay, page speed is crucial. Websites with faster page speed provide a seamless user experience. On the contrary, websites with longer load times tend to have high bounce rates and reduce average page time. A delay of 1 second in page response can result in a 7% reduction in conversion rate. Website conversion rates drop by an average of 4.24% with additional seconds of load time between 0 to 5. The average mobile page takes 15.3 seconds to load, and nearly 70% of consumers admit that page speed impact their willingness to buy from an online retailer. The highest e-commerce conversion rates occur on pages with load times between 0 to 2 seconds. Your page speed is important. When people come on your landing page, man, I've seen this happen so many times. I get an email from someone, Matthew, I got this great product. I got this great website. Everything is so smooth. It's great. They'll send me the link. When I take a look at the link, I'm sitting there just waiting and it's spinning. I'm waiting and it's spinning. And I'm like, why is your website so slow? Your website is extremely slow, so your page speed matters a lot. Make sure that you check your website before you launch your website. Listen, let me save you some time, save you some frustration, save you some money. Before you launch your website, make sure that you're checking the page speed. Because if your page speed is not good, when people come on there, they're going to leave. They are going to leave your site. So now let's get to the training here. We're going to get to the training now, and I want to show you, okay, again, I want to keep this as simple and as basic as possible. This training is meant for beginners that say, Matthew, I've never created a website before, or I'm just getting started. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to figure this website thing out. I probably saw one of your videos somewhere. That's how I'm here watching now to see how can I build a landing page. So I want to keep things simple for you. Now I have this a beginner's course here. I have the intermediate, and then I have the advanced training. So for the sake of this course, you're going to learn how to build a landing page that you can be able to use at the end of this training. You can use that for your business. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of details in terms of web hosting, server space. I have a ton of other videos that I've done so on this channel that you can check out to be able to see, all that I've done and to follow along. I'm not going to show you how to install Joomla and all those things. So we're going to get started here. And by the way, make sure that you go to my video that I have about creating an e-commerce online store, because that's going to show you exactly how to build a store. Okay, that is going to show you how to build an online store. So let me share my screen here, and we're going to get this so you can see what I'm doing here. Now, Joomla is the content management system, if it's your first time, that allows you to be able to build all types of website. Okay, this is the back end. I'm using a software called Gridbox. Gridbox allow you to build any type of website. It's really incredible. It's so incredible, so amazing. So I want to walk you through it now. Once you've already got this installed, right? So if you don't know how to install Joomla, make sure that you go back and you watch my tutorials and the training that I did on how to get this installed. Once you've gotten this installed, then you want to follow that, and you're going to have Gridbox. And we get everything installed. I'm in Gridbox now. Now this is the back end here with the themes. Okay, they have a lot of themes you can be able to use, but I'm not going to use a theme because I want us to be able to build something from the ground. So I'm just going to, let me just duplicate this right now, clone this, and I'm going to change this. I'll call this lead gen, and I'll make this the default theme. Click OK. So now let's go back to the pages. And I'm going to click where it says add new page. So when I click there, I'm going to call this one home. And then when I click this drop, then I can just, it's already selected. I want to click on next. Now when I click on next, you notice that I already have all this stuff here. This is from a previous training that I did, but we're gonna start over here. Okay, we're gonna get started over here with a blank slate. So I'm just gonna come now, and I can just delete this. Let me delete that. So if you're getting this, you're saying, Matthew, why does this look like that? We're going to get all this sorted out. So delete that. Delete that. And I'm going to come back here. Now, before we get started, I just want to go through an overview here, what exactly Gridbox says. And so I'm going to come here to just the color. Okay, so this is a blank slate that we're starting out with. Okay, we're starting out with a complete blank slate, and the goal of it is we want to be able to build something that you can be able to use for your online. So you have an online course that you want to put out there, and you're looking to build something. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing that we want to do is I'm going to let's add the title. So all these are the different things that you can be able to use on this site. So you have your page blocks, you have your libraries, and it's a drag and drop element. So we're going to be dragging and dropping different things on the site. So I'm going to edit this now, and I'm just going to call this leads. And then let's come here. I'm going to change this color. Change the background color. I can put it to, so when you can change the color like that. Okay, so let's start it first with the heading. The goal of it is let's take care of the top part, and as we work our way down, then you can fill everything out. So we'll leave that as the black for now. And the beautiful thing too about this is as I'm moving my mouse over, you can drag and drop things. You can move things to the left or to the right. When I put my mouse over here, you see this icons. I can click to edit. I can click to copy. I can click to modify the columns, or I can leave them as it is. So we're going to put this right over here, and that's simple. And then make sure too that you click on save. So we've saved this first part, and then let's go ahead and just create a simple menu. We're going to create, so when you click on there, let me put this back here. So when you click on this add a new plugin, it gives you options for different things that you're able to add. So when I click add new plugin, I can choose what items that I want to add. I can add a text, I can add a menu. So when I type it menu, I can choose this menu, and then main menu. So the main menu have all these different items that are part of it, right? So we can change all the colors for that later on. We can change the colors for that later on. So now what we want to do is we want to be able to segment this part. I want to change this part here. I'm going to change this the background color. And I want to have something that's like around there. So that color right there, that looks okay. And then from there, I want to be able to add a plugin. So we're going to add a header. So you can edit the header by just clicking on here, or you can put your mouse over this green here and you can click to edit it. And then put the title. And then what I want to do now is I want to change to modify the column. So the column section here, you can choose how many columns you want this to be. Let me X this off. So right now everything is just under one column. I can leave it as it is, but if I want to split this in 2 or 3 sections and have text on one section and have video on another section, I can do that here. So this is what I want to accomplish now. So I want to grab this here, and then I can change. You go to design, you can change the color from here. So if I wanted this to be a different color, I can move it around. As I move it around, you notice that the color changed. So if you're trying to figure out how to change the color for this, then you can do that. But let's just leave it at that for now. And then the next thing that I want to do is I want to clone. I'm going to clone this. I'm going to clone the edit. And I'm going to edit it, and then I want to go over to the layout. Now you notice there's a margin up top. I want to take that margin up to 0. And I'm going to come here. Let me split this. I'll split this to, let's split this to 2 right now. So we have 2 columns, one column on the left and one column on the right. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab a video. And then with the video, this is where you can grab any of like a YouTube or Vimeo, video ID to put on here. So I'm going to go over now. Let's go over now to YouTube, and I'm going to grab a video on YouTube. And just to show you guys, I'm just going to go over to my channel, grab a video, and you can be able to incorporate it in there. Let me just grab this one right here. So I've copied the link from this video that I have. Again, whatever platform, whether you have it on YouTube or Vimeo, you can be able to grab something to put there. So I'm going to grab it right here, and I click to edit, and I'm going to paste it, and then I just need the ID. When I put the ID, then the video shows up. So this video now is going to be linking, you can click to go to YouTube directly. So make sure that you click on save when you're working on this, okay? So you click on save. Now, the option that you have is you can have this link at the left or the right. It's pretty much just based on the style that you want. But again, for simplicity reason, I want to keep this so that it's, to the left. And I'm going to, you see right, I can drag this like that. I can move it based on the size that I want this video to be. So it's responsive design. So I can do that. And then I'm gonna make this one here. Let's make this size a little bit smaller. So go to design, and we want to bring this font down. That's too much. So and then click on save. So that's the first part. And you have this space at the very top. Let's take some of that space off. So let's go over here. And right now it's 100. Let's put that to 50. So there's too much space at the very top. And also there's a lot of space at the bottom. So we can leave that. Now another cool thing that you might want to do is if you want to, let's say, add like shaper dividers. Let me show you something cool that you can do. So you see that? If you want to put a little bit more flavor and give your site a different feel, you can do something like this, right? So you can come back here and be creative when you're working on this. Be creative. So we're going to come back and you can go through each divider here that you want to use and kind of play with it, see which one works for you. So I'm just going to leave that one. Then you can change we'll change the color for that one later on. All right. And then let's click here to add a button. So we're going to add a button. One of the key things about lead pages is that you want to have a call to action above the fold. We talked about above the fold before. So when people come on the site, they don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom to have some type of call to action. You want your call to actions to be where it's visible when they first land on the site. Okay, so you don't want them to scroll all the way to the bottom and they're not able to find what they're looking for. So we're going to click here. I'm going to put in get 14 days free access right now. So 14-day free access right now. You can change the colors for all this stuff later on. And then you click on save. And then you can always link this here somewhere else, right? We're going to take a look at that later on. You can link this to another page that you're going to build. So we're starting off pretty decent here. So now what we want to do is you can click on the view page to see how, let me go back here. So let's change the main menu. So go here to the main menu. We're going to change what that looks like. E-commerce home. So click grid box and you want to click on pages and you want to go to pages and then from here. And I believe the one that we're working on now, find the name for it, go to theme. Okay, this is the home. So you want to make sure that you're linking to the right one that you're working on. So that's the home. We'll click save and close. So now when I click here, it's going to show you the actual one that we're working on. So your page right now is pretty decent, right? So anyone can be able to come in and they can learn about your product. Again, my goal of it is for beginners that are just getting started. I don't want to get you to be overwhelmed because it can be overwhelming how to do this. So you have this now and let's come in and you can change the colors for this part here. So if we want to go back to this top here, we can change the background color. You can change that to white. You can play around with that and see what colors that works for you. So we're going to leave that as, you know, as the white for now. And then let's change this text. Let's change this color. Let's give it something like this, leads. So you want to have some type of color contrast. You know, that goes a long way. You know, a lot of times people just don't know how important it is for you to have some type of color contrast with your site. So now we have this here. We can drag this out more to make that smaller. Again, I want to give you ideas on what you can be able to do. Some people will like this design at the left, other people like it at the bottom, other people may want this at the very top, and other people may want it at the very bottom. So it's pretty much up to you how you want it to be, right? You can see how it's going to look on both of these if you want to do that. So let's just copy this item. So now we have two sections. So in this now, we're going to do two sets of designs. We're going to design it so that the header parts, the images, the video is at the bottom of the text. So let's come here. Let's click the modify the column. Let's make this column 1. Okay, so when you make that 1 like this, and we're going to move this video up. Let's move this down. So let's save this, and you want to see how both parts look like. When you refresh, again, you can click where it says view page on here to view it. So now it's up to you to decide, how do you want this page to be? Do you like this top design, or do you want to go with this bottom design? Whichever one that you think works for you, that's what you go with. So again, you can have this, or you can just have this one here. All right, so let's go back to the editing. And I want to change the background color for this. So I'm going to come back here and I'll change this color. Let's put some gradient. Now it gives it a little bit more. So you can have a start color and you can have an ending color. So let me just come back here and I'll take this off. Grunge none. And then let's change this text. We're going to change this text to white. Again, keeping it simple. And I want to remove the gap between the space right there at the bottom. It's a little bit too much space. So I'm going to remove that gap. And I'm going to change this text color to white. Now this looks okay, but my only thing now is if this video here, if we view this, if this looks too big, right? This looks okay. But I wanted to see if I can maybe make this a little bit smaller. I can leave this like that for now. So we'll leave this like that for now. And that's one of the things too about when you're designing your landing page is that you have to go through and just kind of get a feel for it. You know, do you like how that looks? If you don't like how it is, then you could always come back to change it. And then since we already created this section, let's just come here, and there's a little bit too much space at the bottom. Let's remove some of the space here at the bottom. There's too much space right now. If you see this bottom here, it's 100. So let's put that to 50. Now, if you like a lot of space, you can do that. Let's change this. I'm going to come and change the background color for this here. The gradient. That blue, and let's give it a little more contrasted so it'll be like a orangey. Just something you can play with, and then you can add so I'm gonna just fix let me move this over. Right, if you notice the borders right here, this is another cool thing. When I put this back like this, right, you notice it's all square, but as I move this over, the radius kind of changes on the border. So you can choose to do the radius. Watch the very bottom right here. When I go back to 0, it comes all the way, so I move it over. Now I can choose to apply that effect to the top or just to the bottom. So let's leave it all across the board, and you can extend the pixel. You can add the color white. You move it like that, it gets thicker. So I'm going to leave it that way, and then you can add a shadow. So now let's take a look and see what we have so far. Okay, so now this is this right here. And let's take off some of this. Now, you don't have to have this section here that has the menu. You know, if you don't want the menu, you don't need to have a section that has the menu at the top. So let's just take this menu off for now. Let's delete this here for now. And then we can move this and just put it in the middle. And then we'll see how that looks. Okay, so now we have that. And then since we're already started with this section here, let's go ahead and change the bottom of this section. So I'm gonna make this section, change the background to just have it just white. Let's remove the shape divider because we don't need it. And then we can take that off. And I'm gonna just go through. And this is section where you add a little bit of headline. So you want to be able to do a little bit intro about this particular. So that's like your first block, right? Your first block, what it has to offer. But let's go back here, and I'm going to clone. Click to add a new section. Let's make this 4. And I'm going to show you exactly why I'm doing this. So I'm going to move this section up. Move this section above this one. Bring this one down. Okay, so there we go. So now I want to be able to put let's click on it, put a head in, let's get a header. Easy. So when you click on here, it gives you a lot of different options that you can use. You can use the carousel, the features box. You can play with these here. I just want to show you all the options that you have for it. You can use the icon list. You can use the feature box. When you click on the feature box, that's what a feature box looks like. You can click to edit. Let's choose an icon for this. And then let's come, and I want to make this so now we have 3 columns. So that's the feature box. If you want to put more features, you can add more features with this box. And then also, I'm going to show you different things you can be able to add, and then we're going to choose the one that works best for this. So let's save here and take a look on the front end just to see what we have. So now we have a lead generation site, and we have to load the video, and we have to get the free access to it. Now there's really nothing back down at this section, so we want to be able to work on that. Another thing too that you can add is you can add a countdown, right? A countdown is a very simple method that just counts down to the date of when the product launches, or if you're having a special discount, a special offer. A countdown can help you to do that. And while you're building, let's check out the building blocks. So with the building blocks, you have a lot of options that if you're trying to figure out how can you make something, how could you build something, if there is a block here and you like how that block looks, all that you would have to do is just to drag the block over onto the page. So this is another key section here when you're building your landing page, right? You go over to the blocks. If there is a block that has something that you like, all you'd have to do is just to drag that block over to take that particular section. So let's say with this block, I drag it and I put that block right there. And just like that, we'll have something about the company. Let me just go ahead and just delete. I'm going to delete this section here. And there is another one. Let's delete this section. All right, let's click on save. And let's check out the block section again. You go to services. Is there anything here you see that you like that you want to incorporate? You would just have to drag it over and then you can customize it from there. So let's say I like these right here. I'm going to put this services. Now let's just name this. You can call this whatever you want this to be. Easy access. Watch anywhere. You can name this different names. So I'm just going through, click on save. Make sure you click it to save, and then let's view on the front end. And this are the services. Now let's come down here and we're going to build a little portal. The space between this is too much. You can also adjust that later on. So let's click here and we are going to adjust the space, put that to 0. Again, the goal of it is I want to keep this so simple so as you're following along, you can be able to go back on your own and you can replicate this. You can be able to build this on your own. So let's keep the space between these two. That's a little bit too much space. Let's take that off to 0. That's a little 50. And then we're going to come and delete. So now let's go over again on this section here to the building blocks. And let's see what type of blocks that we want to be able to use next. So as you scroll through here, you have description blocks. Now blocks are really great because they help you to build things so much faster. You go through steps. You go through a schedule. You go through features. You go through a pricing table. So if you want to have people to purchase like a subscription, you can be able to use any one of these here, and you can always tweak and customize the colors for it. So you go through here. You like this type, and you have a pricing list. You have a testimonial, and you have a team section. So let's save this and we want to take a look to see how simple it is. Now, this might look so simple for a lot of people, but when you do something for a long time, it becomes so much second nature to you that for me, this seems like this is so simple and basic. But you'll be surprised how many emails that I get from people that say, you know, Matthew, I had never created a website before. I was struggling. I didn't even know where to begin, what to do. But just a few steps that you showed me, I was able to build something and I was able to launch it. Now, this looks very simple, but for a lot of people, this is a major, major step for them, especially from someone that comes from a background where they have never done this before. They're nervous, they're frustrated, they don't know what to do. This is a long way from there. So even if this is all that you're able to accomplish, right? Because the goal of it is you want for people to just to know about your product. And once they're able to come on your site and they see that, wow, this is what you have to offer, they can click get access, and we can link this later on. So we can build a form and then we can link this particular button to that form. So if you want them to fill out something, if you want them to contact you, so we're going to do that. So let's do that now. Let's do that now. Again, my goal here is I want to keep this so simple. simple that anyone that have never created websites before, if this is all that you're able to accomplish, you've done a whole lot. So let's say that now you want to build this and you want to collect people's information directly on the first page. You don't want to build 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. You want something simple just to get the leads and you're done. So let's click on save. Again, this is where we are. It's very simple, which is the goal. I don't want to get you so complicated and get you confused. You can change the colors, you can change the background, you can change the text, and you can add multiple videos if you want to. So before we do that, let's add a video. Matter of fact, let's adjust this column here. So we'll have one video. I'm going to add a few more here. I'm going to add this, and I'm going to add, let's say we'll add 4 more. And I'm going to move this over right there. And I am going to get another video off my site so that we can be able to utilize this. I'm going to grab this one right here. Let's say you wanted to have multiple videos at the bottom where people come in, they see part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4, and then you want to get their, like, create a form where they can fill out a form if they're interested in what you have to offer. So click here, and we're going to add video. Again, if you're getting started, beginners, there's no need for you to freak out. You know, you got this. You got this. So let's delete this here. So that's the first video. I'm just going to clone this and just drag it over. Clone it, drag it over. Clone it and drag it over. All right. And then let's click on save. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to, let me delete this. Matter of fact, keep that on. I'm going to delete this section here. And at the bottom of this, I'm going to add a form. I'm going to add a form that people can be able to, you know, if they want to reach out to you, they can do that. And let's add some titles for this here. Heading. So we're going to call this one here section, let me see here. Getting started. And let's change the font size. Let's see how 30 looks. And bring it down a little bit more, 25. And I want to be able to take the margins off. And for this part, I want to take the margin. So the goal of it is I just wanted to show you. Let's take the margins up for this part, the bottom. Okay, so now we have this. And let's change the font colors for this. Let's change that to white. So for those of you that just launched a course, you want to give people a preview for what it has to offer. If they want to purchase, then they can do so. Let's do that. So let's click on save. Getting started. And then I'm just going to clone this and then just drag it over. I'm going to clone this and then just drag it over. I'm going to clone this and drag it over. So let's come right now. Module 1. And then we'll call this one module 2. And then we're going to call this one here module 3. Again, if you're just launching a new course, a new product, you've never created websites before, you're saying, Matthew, I can't do this. I'm just showing you right now that you're doing it, and you certainly can. I believe in you. So let's go here at the bottom, 0. And let's come with this one to the bottom. And I want to keep this one to 0. And then save. So let's take a look on the front end and see what we've got so far. So this is what we have. You know, your preview of your course. So I'm going to come now and I am going to reduce the space that's up top here. So let's go over here and reduce the space. 50. Let's put that at 25. I think that's still a little bit more space. Keep that at 0. And I think that I might want to just change this background here. I want to change this. I don't like this color. I'm going to come with something like that. Yeah, there we go. And over here, I want to add getting started. Let's add a text. Let me click it. Let's add a text. Let's add this header. So let's say preview my course lessons. And I'm going to move that right here. Preview my course lessons. And let's change this background here. We're going to change this to white. And we can have the alignment in the middle, or we can put it to the left. Let's put the alignment to the left. And we can change the font size, because that font size is a little bit too big. So let's change that font size to, let's put it to 30, 35. And I'm going to clone this. Oh, wait, go back here. So I clone it, and I'm just going to put in, before getting access to my courses, you can preview them here. Now let's reduce the space. And I'm going to do the same. So what I'm doing is I'm just creating a little video out layout. So I'm going to change that to 0 and change that to 0. And I want to change the text here. This is a little bit too harsh. Let's change this one to, let's bring the font down a little bit. So 30. Now you can choose the font type that you want here if you want to give like a different type of feel. Inherit, when you click inherit, it's just going to inherit whatever style that you have. Roboto. Now you notice there's still a little bit of space between the preview my course lessons and get access. So this is where the line height comes in. So when I take that line height down, that's going to, you know, close that gap a little bit more. So let's bring that down, bring that down. And let's do the same thing too for this one here. So I'm just going to bring that line height. So now the line height is a little bit down. And I'm going to change it from an H1, let's select an H3. And go H4. Okay, so that looks a little bit different. We'll get an H4. Now we have to move it back to the left. And let's change that font back to the right. Again, let's keep this thing simple. I just want you to build a simple portal where you put your video out about what you're trying to share, and you put a few previews for what people can be able to expect from what you're offering. Now I want to be able to add a little bit more space right over here. So I'm going to go back here and let's say 20. Okay, that's fine. And there's still too much gap between there. So let's reduce the space for that. That's 25. We can put that to like a 0. So that's bringing that down a little bit more. So you have getting started, module 1, module 2. Now if you want to customize this a little bit more, you certainly can. You can customize this more. So if you move your mouse like this, you notice that it adds in a circle. So let's fix this. Let's put this over to like, let's see how this looks. I like that little rounded corners. So that's like a 15. And let's do the same thing too for this one. Let's come this here and let's put this layout, and we're going to put this at a 15. And do the same thing for this. So now, let's do the same thing for this. Let's put this one at a 15, the radius at a 15. Let's put this one here at a 15. and let's click on save. Okay, so let's X this off and let's see what we've been able to create so far. Let's make sure that you click on save and then we want to click on view page. So when people come in your site, again, a very simple, they can click here, they can preview. If they like what they see, they can buy now. So we're going to remove this buy now. Let me just delete this for now. Instead of the buy now, let's just add a form at the very bottom of this. Let's add a form. So we're going to create a simple form so when people are here, they can be able to just order directly. So to do so, let's go back to the back end of Joomla. Let's go here and we are going to let's log in again. After a little while, the logins kind of go away. So let's go back to components. Let's go to forms. Now you have a contact form here, right? So the contact form is very simple. If they wanted to contact you, they can do so. The goal of it again is you want to generate some type of lead that people can contact you about your products, about your service. So if you want to put just a simple form for them to do that, that certainly works. So let's add a new form. Let's add a section here. Let's add this section. And in this section, we're going to add a form. So you just type in form and it's going to choose contact form. So this is the form that we have. This is the one. And now you have this contact form here. There's a lot of space. Let's see why is there so much space. So let's take that down a little. And I want to be able to differentiate this contact form here. So I want to be able to change. Maybe let's work on the background here. Let's work on the background. Let's have this to be a color. And let's have it to be a little dark gray. Something like that, right? And then click on save. So you can put here contact me. And let's see what it looks like. So one of the things that you have to get used to is you have to get used to going back and forth to see what it looks like. So you can click here, it says view page, to see how your landing page is coming. So now this is what you have. So what I'm going to do to really keep this super simple, again, make sure that you're sharing this video, that you're liking it. I really hope to be able to that you can use this as you build your site. So let's go back here and we are going to just keep it simple. That's the goal, is we want to keep this very, very simple. And we're going to make sure we just delete this section here. Let's delete this services. And I'm going to add, let's add a new section. I'm going to add a new title. Contact me. And I'm going to put this one here on the left and make that a little bit smaller. So now let's take a look in the home page and see what we got. So you have a product that you're launching, something simple. You have your landing page. People can be able to watch your lessons, your modules, or the sections that you have. And if they want to contact you, they just click here and they're able to contact you. You know, you can't get any more simpler than this. You can't get any more simpler than this. And which is exactly what I wanted to do. Again, I have like this, the beginner's part of it. I wanted to walk you through it step by step. So as you follow along, you don't get so confused and Matthew, I can't do this. And I've just showed you that you're able to do this for any type of business. Now, when I go over to my website and you can see the theme that I built, the same process, I used the same process to create these themes. So these are the custom themes that I designed, and the same process that I'm walking you through is what I did to create these themes. And they convert very well, right? But again, I didn't want to go too much into all the advanced part of it because most of you that reached out to me, you're getting started and you're trying to figure out how to get your business up and going. So far, you've been able to create something that is so simple. And the button that we had here, if you want to leave that, you certainly can. But this is a really great starting point. This is a really great starting point. You know, make sure that you share this video with someone that's looking to build a simple landing page for their business and they feel like, man, I'm not a web designer. I can't create anything. I need help to be able to do this. Make sure that you're sharing this with them because I know that they are going to really see how simple it is for them to be able to build a website. You know, I'm hope that you've learned something today. You know, I'm probably going to do another part, but a little more advanced from advanced users out there that want to be able to do a little bit more. But I hope that you've been able to learn something and just to see that you can design a simple, high converting landing page and get your business out there. You know, and it doesn't take that much. Just from those few steps that I've shown you, you can use that as the template for building something, you know, and then from there you can launch out and do a little bit, a whole lot more. So I hope that you are able to learn something from this. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and to let me know. I love reading your questions. I love getting your emails and to see that the courses are helping you to learn how to build something. It's really so exciting for me. All right, so make sure again that you share this with an entrepreneur or business that wants to learn how to build landing pages. And you can check out my website, MathewTamin.com. If you need help with creating a website, digital marketing, and you need someone to be able to give you the guidance that you need to build high quality pages that converts well. So I look forward to working with you, and thank you so much again for tuning in today. You have a wonderful day. God bless you.